Hello everyone, it's Karen and welcome to another video. Now today, I'd like to apologise for not having made a video for a while. I did try and record an unboxing of the Bruce Springsteen Nebraska box set, but the lighting was too poor to release, so I didn't release that video. Then we tried camera tripod that I usually use. The tripod broke, and I've been trying to fix it with super glue. And this morning I tried to do it, and it ended up coming undone again. So I'm now using a webcam for the time being until I can get a new camcorder tripod. Now the audio quality might be a bit low and in some cases muffled, but you know it's the best I can do with what I've got for the time being. And so yeah, so today I'm going to do something a bit different here. Well, not different, but today I'm going to rank my least favourite to favourite Tom Petty albums. Now, of course, Tom Petty, people who know me in the channel know I'm a big Tom Petty fan. He's one of my all-time favourite artists, and but I've never done a video where I've sat down and actually gone over my least favourite to favourite Tom Petty albums. So I'm going to do that today. Now, I'm going to try to remember the list in as best way as I can, but we're going to do the video. So Tom Petty did 16 albums with the Heartbreakers, his backing band, and he also did 3 solo albums. They will be featured in this video as well, and also I am including the 2 Mudcrutch albums, the band he had with Mike Campbell and Benmont Tench, who were 2 of the Heartbreakers. So they're really included in this video. But however, this will not include live albums, but the live releases are fantastic, like Pack Up the Plantation Live and the Live Anthology. And it won't include any archival releases like the American Treasure set, which is brilliant, or the Wildflowers reissue, or Long After Dark reissue. So we're going to start. So number 18. Now I want to start by saying there are no outright bad Tom Petty albums. There are some great ones, but the reason some might be at the bottom is just because I might not have revisited them after, or just weren't that memorable. But anyway, here we go. So number 18 is going to be 1987's Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. Now, this album, for me, it was good, but to me there were some weak link moments on it. There was the hit Jammin' Me, which was co-written with Mike Campbell and Bob Dylan. There were some other good ones like The Damage You've Done, It'll All Work Out, All Mixed Up, the title track. And I've heard bits and pieces since then, and it's an okay album, but to me it wasn't memorable on first listen. Tom and Mike handled the producing this album. It was the first time this was like an album that they did just Tom and Mike. So I think there was kind of maybe that had a bit to do with it, as they weren't working with people like Jimmy Iovine at the time. This was like the first album I think without Jimmy, but still, it's one I maybe need to give another bit of a listen and kind of maybe get a new appreciation of as well. But yeah, not bad though. Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. I'm not as great as fans, and I will respect that. At number 17, but by no means a bad album again, Mudcrutch 2 from 2016. This is a good album, really good album, but it's not one that I've went back and visited that often. Well, hardly ever really since I first heard it. I mean, there's great ones here like Trailer, I Forgive It All, and even other members of the Heart of Mudcrutch get a chance to sing, like Benmont sings Welcome to Hell, which is a good song, Save Your Water, Hungry No More. So yeah, there are some good songs in this album, but again, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what ones I quite liked, but still not a bad album, still really good, I must admit. I've only got it in CD, I've only got the 2 Mudcrutch albums in CD. I'm mostly going to be showing my vinyl LPs. There are a few showing CDs, I only own them in that format, but I do have all of Tom Petty's albums in CD as well. Then we get the first Mudcrutch album at number 16 from 2008, and again, pretty good, but again, it's not one that I've went back to that often since. I liked Shady Grove, Scared Easy, 6 Days on the Road, This Is a Good Street, which is sung by Benmont, Lover of the Bayou is great as well, and again, it's one that I need to go back and revisit again to get a kind of clearer mind, but it was a good album, I did enjoy it. Now we get into the proper Heartbreakers albums, and at number 15 is going to be 2002's The Last DJ. Now this was a kind of concept album about the kind of music industry of the time, and it's actually not a bad album, still quite good. Like the title track, Money Became King, Dreamville, Like a Diamond, When a Kid Goes Bad, You and Me, Have Love Will Travel. But the only kind of real dodge on this track is the song Joe, and that's not one of my favourites on this album, unfortunately. But it was still really enjoyable. I still think it's a good album. It's still one that I really quite enjoyed, and So yeah, not a bad album actually, The Last DJ from 2002. And I know that record got into a bit of flack at the time because a lot of radio stations saw it as an attack on them, and there are actually some stations that didn't play that track, the last DJ. So, but yeah, not a bad record though. Then in 2010 we get the album Mojo, and this was again a really quite enjoyable record. I like Jefferson Jericho Blues, First Flash of Freedom, The Trip to Pirate Cove, No Reason to Cry, I Should Have Known It, Taking My Time, US 41, Something Good Coming. Really, really good. There's a kind of a bit of a bluesy kind of vibe to this album as well in some instances, but still really good. Released, as I say, released in 2010. It's a good album, and it was the first it was the Heartbreakers' first album for 8 years, because we're going to talk about another one of the albums in just a couple minutes. But yeah, that would be my number 14, Mojo. Now at lucky 13, we have what would turn out to be Tom Petty's last album with the Heartbreakers, unfortunately, before he's passed in 2017, and that's 2014's Hypnotic Eye. This one, they were kind of trying to go back to their roots a bit with the sound of the first two albums a bit. I have to read the songs on the front cover. But yeah, not a bad album. And this is great ones like American Dream, Plan B, Fault Lines, Red River, Forgotten Man, Sins of My Youth, You Get Me High. So yeah, some pretty good songs in this album. But I haven't heard it for a long time, I must admit. But I think I quite liked it when I last heard it. Yeah, one that I definitely need to go back and listen to again. But still a really, really enjoyable album. Hypnotic Eye from 2014 at number 13. At number 12, we're going to Highway Companion from 2006. And again, I only have this one on CD. The vinyl for this one is very difficult to get hold of. I'm still on the lookout for it. But this will do so I can get the vinyl. But anyway, really, really good album. Probably one of my favourite latter-day Tom Petty albums. One that I really enjoyed. I like Saving Grace Square. Saving Grace Square 1. Flirting with Time. Down South. Turn This Car Around. Big Weekend. This Old Town. Ankle Deep. The Golden Rose. So yeah, really good stuff in this album. Tom worked with Jeff Lynne on this album. It was the first time they'd worked with each other since Into the Great Wide Open in 1991. And yeah, really, really enjoyable album. And at the time, a lot of the press, when this album came out, viewed it as Tom Petty's last album, particularly the Guardian newspaper in this country, in the UK. But thankfully, that didn't turn out to be the case, and it wouldn't be until at the time. So yeah, really, really good album. I really enjoyed this one, Highway Companion, 2006. Then, at number 11, we have 1996's album She's the One, songs and music from the motion picture She's the One. Now this was one that Tom Petty kind of did the music for a film starring Jennifer Aniston and John Mahoney, who of course was in Frasier, Cameron Diaz. So quite an interesting film. Tom Petty did the music to this one, much like what Paul Simon had done. Simon and Garfunkel did with the Graduate film. Tom Petty did something like this. The songs they used on here were mostly leftovers from the Wildflower sessions, but there are some great ones here, like Walls, both Circus and Walls number 3, Grew Up Fast, Climb That Hill, Angel Dream, both number 2 and number 4, Hope You Never. There's a song here called Arsehole, which is a cover of a Beck song, but still a really, really good song. Supernatural Radio, California, the instrumental Hope on Board, Hung Up and Overdue. So I'd say this is another really strong album. I think it's most people's. I think a lot of Petty fans maybe put this a bit higher, but there's probably some that put it a bit lower. But still, to me, a very, very enjoyable album, and yeah, I really like this one a lot. So She's the One. Then we get into the top 10, and there are going to be some in the top 10 that might surprise some people, but still still some great albums. Number 10 is 1989's Full Moon Fever, his first solo album, and really great. This came out hot in the head of the Traveling Wilburys, but yeah, just some fantastic songs like, Free Falling, which of course everybody really knows Tom Petty for these days, Won't Back Down, Love Is a Long Road, A Face in the Crowd, Running Down a Dream, Year So Bad, The Apartment song, Alright For Now. So yeah, just some, and the cover of the Birds song, Feel a Whole Lot Better, is great as well. So yeah, just a really, really brilliant album. Tom teamed up with Jeff Lynne producing this album, and yeah, just a really great album. It's one that people kind of rate highly in the Tom Petty catalogue. But for me, it's number 10 in the top 10 at least, and it's definitely in the top 10. Definitely a really great underrated record, and just some really, really great songs. The production-wise is great. The production on Tom Petty's album is just brilliant anyway, but yeah, really, particularly on this one as well. But yeah, really great album, Full Moon Fever. At number 9, we're going to the second album, You're Gonna Get It, from 1978. This one, again, you know, this is a really, really great album. Some really great ones in here, like When the Time Comes, the title track, Heart Too Much Ain't Enough, and even the hits I Need to Know and Listen to Her Heart, No Second Thoughts, and Baby's a Rock and Roller. But yeah, really, really great album. And again, they were kind of finding their stance on this album, because the first album hadn't really gotten much recognition. It took a while for it to get much recognition, but this one they kind of started to get a bit more recognition within the mainstream music scene, and it wouldn't be until Damn the Torpedoes, which we'll touch upon just later, that they kind of made it big. And but this was when the kind of things were starting to kind of look up for them. But yeah, really, really brilliant album, great production. I've done a review on this one as well. A few of these albums I've actually talked about on the channel already, but if you want to see me go over them in more detail, then go back and check them out. Then at number 8, we get 1999's album Echo. And this is described as a kind of dark album, and it's a really, really great album, released in 1999. And there was a lot going on at this point. Tom had gone through a bit of a difficult divorce during the period of Wildflowers and She's the One. And this album was kind of him kind of coming out of that divorce. But also there was other problems in the band, because bassist Harry Epstein was experiencing heroin addiction issues, and Harry would sadly die in 2003. So despite all the turmoil that was kind of going on in the background, this is still a really great album, and it kind of really reflects on it a little bit. I really like the song Room at the Top, Counting on You, Lonesome Sundown, Swinging, Accused of Love, the title track, I Don't Want to Fight, which Mike Campbell, the guitarist, sings. This One's for Me, No More, and One More Day, One More Night. So yeah, I think this is a really, really underrated album. Some Petty fans, I think, have often tried to rank this quite low in his catalogue, but still, to me, a really, really enjoyable album. It's been a long time since I've heard it, but definitely to go back and check out again. A lot of these albums are definitely to go back and check out again, definitely. Number 7 is going to be the first album, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, from 1976, and a great debut album, actually. Probably one of my favourite debut albums. Like Rockin' Around With You, the hit Breakdown, Hometown Blues, The Wild One Forever, anything that's rock and roll, American Girl, which is the big hit, and even other great ones like Strangers in the Night, Fooled Again, I Don't Like It, and Mystery Man as well. Luna's not too bad, actually. The whole album's really great. Probably my favourite debut album. Just a great kind of hard rock kind of sound to it, and you know, there wasn't really many albums that sounded like this at the time, and kind of people, when Tom Petty first came out, particularly in this country in the UK, viewed it as punk new wave, but it was kind of hard rocking it, but it was rock really. But yeah, still a really, really great album, one of my all-time favourite albums, debut albums, and Tom Petty albums. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. Also should have said that this won't include the Traveling Wilburys albums, but they're both great. Now we get into the top 6 now. Number 6 is Southern Accents from 1985. Again, one of my personal favourite albums. I know this was a bit of a tricky album to make, because, you know, they were going through, you know, drug addictions, they were all into cocaine at the time, but then eventually they kind of got their act together and made this really good album. The intention had been to make a double album with kind of a concept of Tom's southern upbringing, because he was from Florida. He was actually from Florida originally, but this is what we got in the end. But I actually really like it. Tom also worked with Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics, as well as Jimmy Iovine. We get things on here like Rebels, great one, Don't Come Around Here No More, the big hit single, the title track, Spike, and one of my favourites, The Best of Everything, on here as well, is great as well. But these songs actually work better on the Pack Up the Plantation live album, which I just have here. Which I have here, the Pack Up Plantation live concert album and video as well, which I'll just go and get. I probably should have pulled it out a bit earlier, but anyway, they also work as well live on the Pack Up the Plantation live video as well. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the live albums, but yeah, anyway, really, really good album. I really enjoyed it. But again, it's sort of one that's got lost in the mix a bit over the years, and but still a really, really underrated album, at least anyway. Apologies for the mess in the background. I probably should get this all cleared up before I did the video. But anyway, now we get into the top 5 albums now, and at number 5 is going to be Into the Great Wide Open from 1991. Again, Jeff Lynne produced this album, but this time he had the Heartbreakers on board. And the recording experience, to say the least, a lot of the Heartbreakers don't really look back on it with much kind of fondness, because, I mean, each producer they've worked with has always had a different approach. I mean, you know, Jimmy Iovine had his approach, but Jeff's approach was to really have the Heartbreakers play their, Tom and Mike lay down their vocals, guitars, and Jeff laid down his parts. Benmont and Stan and Howie would come in and do their bits, and Benmont kind of didn't really like that, and neither did Stan Lynch much either, the drummer. And this would be in fact the last album to feature Stan Lynch on drums before he left the band in '94. But still a really brilliant album. Again, Jeff Lynne's production work is just brilliant on these songs. Learning to Fly, King's Highway, Into the Great Wide Open, Two Gunslingers, The Dark of the Sun, All the Wrong Reasons, Too Good to Be True, You and I Will Meet Again, Built to Last, Making Some Noise is a great rocker. So yeah, one of my favourite Tom Petty albums, a really underrated one as well. Well, a lot of fans will probably rate this higher in his catalogue as well. But yeah, really great one. Now we're nearly getting to the number 1. We're now in the top 4, and I know some of these people might disagree with some choices, but yeah, I think this is just my opinion. I might look back and go, ooh, maybe that could have been, you know, and I might redo this video if I have a change of mind, if I kind of change where I feel in some albums. But anyway, here's number 4, Hard Promises from 1981. Pretty much on the back of the success of Damn the Torpedoes, another really seminal album as well, another great album. Great songs on here like The Waiting, Woman in Love, It's Not Me, Something Big, King's Road, Letting You Go, A Thing About You, Insider, and You Can Still Change Your Mind. Yeah, just a really, really brilliant album, really underrated album as well. And again, you know, it's not easy to fault your big album, but Tom and the Heartbreakers managed it no problem with this great album. Again, production work on it is great. Just, yeah, really, really brilliant, underrated album as well. Great record, Hard Promises. And it pretty much continued with that success. Now we're in the top 3. And at number 3 is going to be the second solo album, Wildflowers from 1994. Really, really brilliant album. One of my all-time favourite Tom Petty albums, and I know it's a lot of people's, definitely amongst their favourites as well. I mean, a title track, you know, To Find a You Don't Know How It Feels, Time to Move On, You Wreck Me, It's Good to Be King, Only a Broken Heart, Don't Fade on Me, Cabin Down Below, To Find a Friend, House in the Woods, Crawling Back to You, and Wake Up Time. But yeah, just a really, really brilliant album, and one of my all-time favourite Tom Petty albums. It was an album that I kind of, you know, only heard bits and pieces of, but then when the reissue came out, I really started to appreciate the album a bit more, and even the Wildflowers and all the rest reissues, I should say. But yeah, really, really great album. One of my all-time favourite Tom Petty albums, and you know, as I stated, you know, Tom was going through, you know, a lot of rough patches, you know, with his marriage and whatnot, but still a really, really brilliant album. Although it's credited as a Tom Petty solo album, members of the Heartbreakers, however, in this instance are involved, with the exception of Stan Lynch, who was now replaced by Steve Ferrone on drums. And you even get appearances from Ringo Starr on drums as well, on the song To Find a Friend. But yeah, really, really great album. One of my all-time favourite Tom Petty albums. Now we're in the top 2. What are they going to be? Number 2 is Long After Dark from 1982. Now, I know some fans again will rate this a bit lower, but this is a really underrated album, I must say. One of my all-time favourite Tom Petty albums, and it was an album that kind of, and then in recent years got to really love a bit more. Great songs in here like One Story Town, You Got Lucky, Change of Heart, We Stand a Chance, Straight into Darkness, Between Two Worlds, and A Wasted Life. Just some brilliant songs in this album. And I know there were a bit of, and I know some fans kind of feel that there were, and even Tom himself feel there was a lot of material that he recorded during the sessions for the album that didn't come out at the time but have come out in later years. Like there was a song in there called Keeping Me Alive that was done during the sessions, which is a really, really good song. I really like that track. But however, Tom and Jimmy Iovine disagreed on the track. Jimmy felt it was too acoustic to be on the album, and it never made the album. Because kind of Jimmy Iovine wanted to keep them at their kind of pop rock stance, and even Jimmy Iovine himself admitted that, you know, after 3 albums you should just you know, move on producers. And even he himself felt that he didn't give as much input on the album as you know, as he had done with Damn the Torpedoes and Hard Promise. Because after Damn the Torpedoes, you know, everyone was wanting Jimmy Iovine's production work, even for people like Meatloaf to, you know, Bob Seger. But Jimmy Iovine also recorded with people like, you know, Bruce Springsteen and John Lennon and Patti Smith. So Iovine was in demand pretty much, and so yeah, really, really great album, really underrated. And the deluxe edition came out last year as well, which I've got, and yeah, and I kind of think that maybe has kind of given the album a bit more reappreciation a bit. And now the number one is going to be 1979's Damn the Torpedoes. This is my all-time favourite Tom Petty album. It's probably the one I play the most, as well as like his greatest hits albums. But what can you say about this album? This was his breakthrough album. I mean, Refugee, Here Comes My Girl, Even the Losers, Don't Do Me Like That, and even great gems as well, like Shadow of a Doubt, Century City, Louisiana Rain. Just a brilliant, brilliant album, and one of my all-time favourite albums, and one of my favourite albums of all time as well. I've also reviewed this one as well. But yeah, great production work again by Jimmy Iovine. This was like his first instance where he was producing an album for somebody, but yeah, really, really brilliant album, really, really underrated album. And I would argue this is Tom Petty's best album. In my opinion, I know some of these will have differences in opinions, but this is probably his best for me. And yeah, and I hope it's I hope it's your favourite too. So that's it for this ranking video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I kind of hope to make some more videos quite soon at some point as well. And again, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to do your list of, let me know your least favourite to favourites, then leave a comment below. And I might do some more videos like this. I know I did one for the Beatles a few years ago, but I'd like to do a bit more, I'd like to do a bit more of these ranking videos at some point as well, like maybe Bruce Springsteen and some other artists once I've heard all their albums. But anyways, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon.